It took 10 doubles only to go from 5 million people to 8 billion people in 7,000 years, okay? That, to me, I sit there and I say the following. I say Al Gore's full of shit. I say AOC is definitely full of shit. The end of the world is in 12 years, full of shit. But guess what? It is happening eventually if we don't do something about it.
The end of the world?
Not the end of the world.
Or the end of human population growth?
The end of the capacity, what our capacity will be. So then we can think like Dr. Evil.
I can tell you one thing that explains why there went from 4 billion to 8 billion, for example.
Why?
It's called the Haber-Bosch process. It won 2 Nobel Prizes in the early 1900s. It was a formula, a technological process involving very high heat and very high pressure, an extremely complicated process, which was able to combine nitrogen from the atmosphere with natural gas to make ammonia. That ammonia is the basis of all the nitrogen fertilizer being used in the world's agriculture today. It results in at least a doubling of crop production. And that is why we see this news today about Sri Lanka banning nitrogen fertilizer and Netherlands now basically banning much of the nitrogen fertilizer. And this is the biggest threat we have right now to an immediate starvation situation in the world. Food shortage. You hear it said.
That's where I'm going.
The odd time.
Yeah.
But the reason it's self-inflicted, this food shortage. Nitrogen, the air has 70% of the air is nitrogen. We could take nitrogen out of the air for the next million years and make fertilizer because it all goes back into the air again eventually. Same with the carbon dioxide.
If we double 2 more times, we got 32 billion people here. We can't have 32 billion people in the world.
In other words, we won't double it to 32. If we can't have it, we won't go there.
Why
we can't get
okay,
there.
so let's speculate. Tell me what you mean by that.
What I mean is today, people are getting wealthier. The number of people living in poverty as a percentage of the population is much smaller now than it was 20, 30, 50 years ago.
Yep.
When we reach a position where more and more people are going into poverty and starving to death, we will know we're coming close to that limit. How else are you going to find out unless you artificially reduce the population by cutting off the fossil fuels and by cutting off the nitrogen fertilizer? That's what the real problem is today. I'm saying this is a self-inflicted wound that we are dealing with right now. And it's a real problem because I can see this, that these powerful elites like Schwab and on down, they want control of the world. They want control of everybody. Now, what do they want? They want fewer people. They think it's already too many, I think. That's what they've been saying in the United Nations for a long time. But the facts don't bear that out because less and less people are living in poverty, and our knowledge of agriculture is growing, our knowledge of genetics is growing, and we're able to grow way more food now than we were then. And food is the basis of how many people can be here.